Hey, stop right there. What are you doing here?
I'm trying to enter the stadium, same as everyone else.
No, you're not. You don't look like you belong here. Where'd you get that credential?
Wow, watch your tone. I don't need to explain myself to you.
Oh, you absolutely do. Turn around now.
I'm a federal agent, FBI. Call your supervisor now.
What happened at the stadium entrance was not a misunderstanding. The officer stopped and escalated the encounter based on assumption, not evidence, during a federally secured Super Bowl event. The man being detained was a federal agent with the FBI on assignment, and his identity was known within minutes of the confrontation. The incident was captured on bodycam, witnessed by multiple security agencies, and immediately escalated to supervisors on site. Within hours, it triggered an internal investigation, a federal civil rights review, and a lawsuit that would cost the city millions and an officer's career. Before we continue, tell us where you're watching from and don't forget to subscribe. The man detained at the stadium was Marcus Allen Brooks, 38 years old, a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. At the time, he had 13 years of federal service, including assignments in counterterrorism, organized crime investigations, and joint task forces with local law enforcement. Brooks held active federal credentials, security clearance for large-scale national events, and had participated in multiple high-profile operations involving public safety. His record was clean, his authority verifiable, and his presence at the Super Bowl fully authorized. The officer who initiated the arrest was Ryan P. Whitmore, 36 years old, a uniformed patrol officer assigned to event security. At the time, Whitmore had 9 years on the job and was positioned at a high-traffic access point outside the Super Bowl perimeter. His internal record showed 11 civilian complaints over 6 years, including allegations of aggressive conduct, improper stops, and racial bias. 9 complaints were dismissed as unsubstantiated, 1 resulted in a written warning, and none led to suspension or removal from duty. Despite the documented pattern, Whitmore continued to receive frontline assignments, shielded by internal review processes that repeatedly cleared him and kept his record effectively intact. Outside the Super Bowl stadium, the main pedestrian approach is already packed. Fans move in slow lines between metal barricades. Security workers scan tickets and wave people forward. Uniformed officers stand in pairs at the edges of the flow, watching bodies, bags, and faces. Ryan P. Whitmore is posted near a choke point where the crowd narrows, just before the magnetometers and credential check. He turns his body toward Marcus Allen Brooks as Brooks steps through the lane like everyone else, phone in one hand, lanyard credential visible, neutral posture, eyes forward. Whitmore breaks from his position and cuts across the walkway, closing distance fast. The body cam angle dips with the movement. His shoulder bumps a barricade as he plants himself in front of Brooks' stop. Right there, Brooks freezes, then looks past Whitmore toward the checkpoint, confused by the sudden block. People keep streaming around them. A couple of fans glance over and keep walking. "I'm going in," Brooks says, controlled. "I'm at the right entrance." Whitmore doesn't step aside. He leans in, forcing Brooks to stop fully, forcing him to perform compliance in public. His voice is louder than it needs to be, cutting through the crowd noise. "Where are you headed? Show me what you've got." Brooks lifts his credentials slightly. It's visible. The lanyard hangs on his chest. Whitmore doesn't take it. He stares at Brooks' hands like they're suspicious by default. "Keep your hands where I can see them," Whitmore snaps. Brooks' jaw tightens. He raises his hands a few inches, palms open, because he knows the rules of this game. The crowd keeps moving. The checkpoint continues. Nobody stops it. This is what racial profiling looks like in real time. One person singled out, blocked, questioned, and pressured, while everyone else walks freely past. Not because of a description, not because of behavior, because of who he is. Whitmore circles half a step to Brooks' side, try and angle him away from the flow of people. The body cam catches Brooks' face close up, annoyance rising into visible indignation. "What's in your pockets?" Whitmore demands. "Why are you nervous?" "I'm not nervous," Brooks says. "You're stopping me for no reason." Whitmore's hand moves toward his belt, an intentional gesture. It's not a draw, but it's a warning. The camera catches fingers near the holster and the radio. "Don't get smart with me." Brooks lets out a short, humorless laugh, pure disbelief, then clamps down again. His eyes stay locked on Whitmore. He's angry, but he's measured, because he understands exactly how quickly this turns into a takedown when a black man shows emotion. This is ridiculous, Brooks says. Let me pass. Whitmore steps in closer, forcing Brooks to step back. Brooks' heel catches slightly on the edge of the barricade base. He corrects his balance without raising his hands. He keeps them visible. He's doing everything the public is told to do. Whitmore points with a stiff finger toward a gap between barricades, away from the checkpoint. Over there. Now, Brooks doesn't move, not because he's resisting, because he's refusing to be quietly removed from public view without a reason. I'm not going anywhere with you, Brooks says. Tell me what you think I did. Whitmore raises his voice again, turning heads now. A security worker at the magnetometer glances over. A nearby officer looks, then looks away. You match what we're looking for, Whitmore says, without describing anything specific, because there is nothing specific. It's a line that sounds official, but means nothing. Brooks' expression hardens. He shakes his head once, slow. Turn around, Whitmore orders. Hands behind your back. Brooks' hands lift higher for a second, palms out, showing he's not reaching. He takes a controlled breath. His voice stays low, but firm, angry without shouting. Listen to me carefully. Whitmore's radio crackles. He keys it briefly, not calling for clarity, calling for control. I said turn around. Don't make this worse. Brooks gives another short laugh of contempt, disbelief at the audacity. Then his face snaps. Back into anger. His eyes narrow. His tone becomes clipped, official. I'm a federal agent. FBI, he says. Call your supervisor. Now, there's a half-second shift in Whitmore's posture, a micro-freeze, followed by an immediate attempt to reassert dominance because backing down would mean admitting what this was. Yeah, sure. Whitmore fires back. You people say anything when you get caught. Brooks doesn't raise his voice. He exhales slowly through his nose. His expression shifts from anger to something colder. He lowers one hand deliberately, keeping the other visible, and reaches inside his jacket with 2 fingers. Whitmore stiffens immediately. Don't reach. He snaps. I told you. Brooks stops mid-motion and looks straight at him. I'm showing you, he says. Watch carefully. He pulls out a leather credential wallet and flips it open in one clean movement, holding it chest high and angled directly toward the body cam. The badge catches the light. Gold sealed dot photo ID. Federal markings clearly visible. I'm FBI, Brooks says again, flat in control. Special agent. There is a visible pause. Whitmore doesn't step back, but his posture changes. His shoulders lock. His hand freezes near his belt instead of tightening. The body cam captures Brooks' face in close detail. Jaw tight, eyes steady, unblinking. He doesn't smile. He doesn't soften. The anger is still there, but now it's contained, deliberate. Call your supervisor, Brooks says. Right now, around them, the crowd keeps moving. Fans pass within arm's length. Unaware of what just shifted, the checkpoint continues operating. The public flow remains uninterrupted. Whitmore doesn't respond immediately. His radio crackles again. He looks once at the badge, then away, as if recalibrating. The final seconds hold in that silence, a black man forced to prove his legitimacy in public. Under threat, at the largest security event in the country, not because of what he did, but because of who he is. Whitmore looks at the badge, then past it. He does not reach for it. He does not step back. Instead, he shifts his weight forward, closing the distance again. That doesn't change your behavior, Whitmore says. Marcus doesn't move. His hands remain visible. The badge is still open. My behavior hasn't changed, Marcus replies. I showed you my credentials. Whitmore ignores the badge completely. His focus moves from the document to Marcus' posture, his tone, his presence. You're escalating, Whitmore says. You're being confrontational. A fan nearby slows down, watching. A security staff member glances over from the checkpoint. He showed you the badge, someone says from behind the barricade. Whitmore doesn't respond to the comment. He raises his voice, instead, redirecting the narrative. Turn around, he orders. You're not complying. The accusation has shifted. Moments ago, the issue was a supposedly fake credential. Now the issue is attitude.demeanor.tone, something that cannot be verified, only asserted. Marcus looks directly at him. So now the problem is how I'm standing, he asks. Whitmore's hand moves toward his belt again, not drawing, signaling. Don't argue, Whitmore says. You're making this worse. The badge is still visible, clear, undeniable, and irrelevant to the officer's decision. This is exactly what you're doing, Marcus says. You didn't find a crime, so you're creating one. Whitmore steps closer, forcing Marcus back a half step. The body cam jolts with the movement. Turn around, hands behind your back. Another voice cuts in, this time a uniformed event staff member. He's authorized, the worker says. I saw the credential. Whitmore ignores him. Step away. Whitmore snaps, without looking. This doesn't concern you. The crowd continues flowing around them. People stare openly now. Phones come out. No one intervenes with authority. Marcus lowers the badge, but does not put it away. You have no legal basis to detain me, he says. And you know that. Yeah, sure. Whitmore fires back. You people say anything when you get caught. That line hangs in the air. It lands hard. It reframes the entire encounter. The assumption is no longer subtle. Marcus' expression changes. The anger is still there, but something else replaces it. Finality. This is enough, he says. Whitmore reaches again toward his belt. Not fully, but enough. Marcus moves. He steps in fast, controlled, intercepting the arm mid-motion and locking it at the elbow. The movement is technical, practiced. No punches, no shouting, just leverage and balance. Whitmore stumbles backward, caught off guard, his posture collapsing. What the hell? Whitmore starts. Marcus pivots, guiding Whitmore's arm behind him and pinning it safely. The body cam swings wildly for a second, then steadies. Do not resist, Marcus says, calm and loud enough for witnesses to hear. Whitmore freezes, stunned more than hurt. Marcus reaches to Whitmore's shoulder mic and keys the radio. Supervisor to my location, he says clearly. Officer compromised. Federal agent on scene. The radio crackles. No immediate response. Marcus maintains the hold. His breathing is controlled. His voice steady. This didn't have to happen, he says. You chose this. Around them, the crowd has stopped pretending not to see. People stare openly now. Some shake their heads. Others film. The badge lies visible again, resting against Marcus' chest as he holds the officer in place. The scene ends there, a federal credential ignored, a false accusation exposed, and an officer restrained not because of a threat, but because he refused to stop looking for one, where none existed. Supervisors arrive within minutes, not rushing at first, walking fast, controlled, already assessing exposure. The scene is still active. Marcus stands to the side now, no longer restraining Whitmore, his badge visible again. His posture rigid. Whitmore is being held back by another officer, visibly shaken, saying little. A senior supervisor steps in and speaks before asking questions. Who's detained? There's a pause. No one answers immediately. Marcus speaks first. Calm, clear. I'm a federal agent, FBI. I was stopped, accused, and nearly detained after presenting valid credentials. The supervisor turns to Whitmore. Is that correct? Whitmore hesitates. He doesn't deny it. He reframes. He was being confrontational. He escalated. The supervisor doesn't respond to that. He asks for the badge. Marcus hands it over. The supervisor examines it carefully. He already knows what he's seeing. This is valid, the supervisor says. Run it. An officer steps aside and begins verification through internal channels. Another supervisor asks for the body cam footage. Immediately. No delay. No discretion. Pull the last 15 minutes, she says. Now, around them, the crowd has slowed. A few people are still filming. A woman nearby says out loud, not quietly, he showed the badge and they still went after him. No one corrects her. The radio crackles back. Credentials confirmed. A voice says, active federal agent, authorized presence. That should end it. It doesn't. Instead, the supervisors shift focus, not to apology, but to containment. Move this off the main entrance, one says. We're blocking foot traffic. Marcus looks at him. I'm not being moved, he says. I didn't do anything wrong. The supervisor nods slightly, tight-jawed. Understood, he says. But we need to de-escalate. De-escalate. The word lands hollow. Marcus was never the one escalating. Another supervisor pulls Whitmore aside. Their voices are low, but the body language is clear. Hands on hips, short sentences, no raised voices. This is no longer about safety, it's about liability. You stopped him without cause, the supervisor says quietly. He had a badge, Whitmore replies. You ignored it. A security coordinator from the event joins them, visibly irritated. "This is a federally secured site," she says. "You cannot freelance stops here." The jurisdiction question becomes unavoidable now. Federal credentials, local authority, a public stop captured on multiple cameras. "This is a problem," the coordinator says. "A big one." Meanwhile, Marcus stands where he was stopped, still surrounded by uniformed officers, not restrained, but not released either. That delay speaks volumes. A supervisor finally turns back to Marcus. "You're not being detained," he says. "I never was," Marcus replies. There's no apology, no acknowledgement of wrongdoing, just procedural language. "We're going to document the incident." "It's already documented," Marcus says. "Your officer's body cam, the witnesses, the radio traffic." Another supervisor cuts in. "We're placing Officer Whitmore on administrative hold pending review." Pending review, the same phrase that has closed complaints for years. Marcus watches as Whitmore is escorted away, not in cuffs, not publicly questioned, not humiliated, just quietly removed from view. The contrast is obvious. Minutes earlier, Marcus was nearly handcuffed in front of a crowd for nothing more than existing in the wrong body at the wrong gate. Now, the officer who caused it is shielded, spoken to softly, managed internally. A supervisor leans toward Marcus. "We'll follow up," he says. "Someone from legal will reach out." Legal, not accountability, not apology. Marcus nods once. "This didn't start when you arrived," he says. "It won't end here." The supervisors don't respond to that. The flow of fans resumes. Barricades are reset. The entrance returns to normal. From the outside, nothing appears wrong. But the shift has happened. A federal agent was publicly targeted, accused, and nearly restrained despite valid credentials. Multiple authorities witnessed it. Evidence was captured. Jurisdiction was violated. Policy was ignored. And the institution moved, not to correct the injustice, but to manage the damage. The response does not stay internal for long. Within 48 hours, the incident is formally referred for review across multiple channels. Bodycam footage is preserved. Radio traffic is archived. Event security logs are locked. What happened at the stadium entrance becomes a legal record, not an internal inconvenience. A civil rights investigation is opened, not because of a complaint alone, but because the evidence is immediate and public. The footage shows a valid federal badge presented clearly and repeatedly ignored. It shows a reason for the stop changing in real time. It shows escalation without cause. And it shows a black man treated as a suspect after proof of authority was placed directly in front of an officer's camera. "This isn't a judgment call," one investigator says during an early review. "This is procedure being abandoned. As records are pulled, a pattern emerges. Prior complaints against Ryan P. Whitmore are re-examined side by side instead of individually. Stops that were previously labeled unsubstantiated now read differently when placed in sequence. The same language appears again and again: attitude, non-compliant, behavioral cues. In each case, no crime is identified. In each case, the subject is black. One analyst states it plainly during a briefing. He wasn't finding violations. He was looking for them. Witness statements from the Super Bowl incident are added to the file. Multiple civilians confirm seeing the badge and hearing it dismissed. Event staff confirm authorization was clear. A federal security coordinator submits a written report stating the stop violated jurisdictional boundaries at a federally secured event. This should have ended the moment the badge appeared, the report reads. It didn't. The civil lawsuit is filed quietly but decisively. The claims are narrow and precise: unlawful detention, racial profiling, violation of civil rights, and failure to intervene by supervising personnel. The body cam footage becomes central. There is no dispute about what it shows. During settlement negotiations, the city's legal counsel does not argue innocence. They argue exposure. This will not play well in front of a jury, one attorney says during a closed session. Especially not with the badge ignored on camera. The settlement is reached before trial. The total amount, $3.4 million. The breakdown is specific: to $0.1 million for civil rights violations and unlawful detention, $850,000 for emotional distress and reputational harm, for $150,000 allocated for legal fees and costs. No confidentiality clause prevents public disclosure of the facts. As the agreement is finalized, the administrative process against Whitmore accelerates. The same reviews that once closed complaints now reopen them. This time, they are not isolated. They are contextualized. During an internal hearing, Whitmore offers the same defense he used at the stadium. "I perceive a threat," he says. "You perceive a black man," a review panel member responds. That's the difference. His employment is terminated, not suspended, not reassigned, terminated. The official reason cites violations of policy, failure to follow protocol, and conduct unbecoming of an officer. The underlying cause is unstated, but understood. His career ends there. No badge, no uniform, no appeal that reverses the outcome. Institutional changes follow, not because of moral awakening, but because liability has been quantified. Event security protocols are rewritten to require immediate verification escalation. When federal credentials are presented, bodycam review thresholds are lowered. Complaint histories are evaluated collectively, not case by case. A supervisor involved in the incident is reassigned. Training modules are updated. Press statements are issued emphasizing commitment to fairness. None of it erases what happened. Marcus Allen Brooks returns to his assignment. He does not seek publicity. He does not give interviews. When asked later about the incident, he keeps it short. "I showed who I was," he says. That wasn't enough. That sentence becomes the quiet center of the case. A black man, fully authorized, clearly identified, and publicly humiliated at the country's most secure event, until the institution was forced to acknowledge what it preferred to ignore. The lawsuit ends. The officer's career ends. The system adjusts just enough to protect itself. This story is meant to generate awareness. It proves that racial profiling is not a misunderstanding, not a coincidence, and not an isolated mistake. It is a pattern of power exercised without accountability until evidence, witnesses, and consequences force the truth into the open. What happened here shows how easily a black man can be treated as a suspect first, even when he is fully authorized, fully compliant, and fully within the law. In 2025, Black Americans were nearly 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white Americans, and 77% of black adults say they are treated less fairly by police than white people. Those numbers are not abstract. They are lived experiences repeated daily, often without cameras, without badges visible, and without consequences. So here are the questions. How many people never get the chance to prove who they are? How many stops escalate because bias replaces evidence? How many careers, lives, or families are damaged before anyone listens? Do you know any organizations that work to protect the rights of black people in America? Legal support groups, community safety initiatives, or civil rights coalitions? Share them in the comments. Let's support those working for justice and safety for all. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.